Hey there, my name is Julia. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today I have some herbal tea, and I also have a big bunch of rhubarb. This is what I'm gonna try to deal with this weekend. I have a couple of recipes that I wanna try with rhubarb, neither of which I have ever made before. Usually when I have rhubarb, I just kind of wing it, find like just a crumble topping, stuff like that, but I have found two recipes that I am going to try. I'm not sure if I'll get them both done right now because I do have plans in like a couple of hours. I'm really excited that it's rhubarb season. This is one of my all-time favorite flavors to bake with, but you can only really get it in a very specific window during the year. I'm a member of a CSA, which stands for Community Supported Agriculture. You might have also heard of a farm share, and basically this is a concept where people basically buy directly from farmers instead of having the grocery store as the middleman. You get much more local items. I will say the cost is more expensive, and also I pay for delivery as part of the service, but this is something at this phase of my life that I'm happy to pay more for because I feel really good about supporting locally. I also know that not every CSA is designed the same. There are a lot of CSAs where you basically pay up front for a year or a season, and what you get in your box is what you get. You get a delivery every week or every 2 weeks, and if kale is in season but you don't like kale, oh well, you're getting a lot of kale. The thing that's really awesome about the CSA that I'm a part of is, number one, you pay every single week, and you also have the option to pause on a week to hold your box or to donate that box. So if you're gonna be on vacation or you're just not able to, use the fresh produce that week, like if you've got a lot of big events going on and you just don't have time to be home and cook or whatever, you can hold your box for that week and not pay for it. Or you can choose to donate it, and it gets donated to, I'm not even sure, local organizations, I think, that are supporting people who are dealing with food insecurity. The other thing I love about my CSA is that you get to choose what is in your box every single week. So I basically, in my online portal, I set my preferences of what I like, what I really like, what I really hate, what I never want in my box, and it auto creates like a box for me. And I have the option every single week to go in and adjust my box. The thing that's also great is it's not just this specific farm. They partner with a bunch of local farms, but also farms across the country. So in the summer we get like really awesome citrus from Florida and just like a really great variety of things. They have a storefront, so there's 4 different box sizes that you can pay for based on like the number of people in your household or how much stuff you go through, but you can always add additional items through their storefront. So if your box is like, I don't know, a $25 a week box, but there's something that you really want that does not fit into that $25, you can still add that on, kind of like a la carte, if you will. But yeah, you can basically go in and just make your selections for what items you want, and it shows up on my doorstep every Wednesday. Like I said, I love rhubarb, and there's really just a small window that you can get it, and you can't get it everywhere. So when I saw that rhubarb was on the menu for my CSA, I got 2 units. I got 2 bunches, which is a lot of rhubarb. So I'm hoping that I can get through a bunch of this with these 2 recipes I'm gonna make, and then I might need to just look up like how I can preserve this without having to like make jam or something like that. Although like a strawberry rhubarb jam sounds really, really good. I just don't have the time for that. I'm going out of town next week. So I need to see if I can like chop it and freeze it, or how long it'll last, if I can just like put it in the fridge and it'll still be good when I come home. I don't know, but I'm excited. I love rhubarb. And yes, let's address the elephant in the room. I got a haircut. It's a little shorter than I was planning, but it's cut and I can't go back, so we'll just grow it out and see how it goes. The first recipe I'm going to make is a strawberry rhubarb crumble. I love rhubarb on its own, but I obviously have a lot of rhubarb and I need to make stuff that I can share with people so that I can use up the rhubarb. So I know that on its own, rhubarb is like kind of a strong sour taste. So I want to make it a little more palatable for the general public, for my friends to enjoy. So I'm gonna make a strawberry rhubarb crumble and I'm just gonna dive right in. I've got my recipe pulled up and we'll get it going. First things first, I'm an idiot. I was supposed to let my butter come to room temperature and I just pulled it out of the refrigerator. So I guess I'll let this soften just for a little bit and maybe I'll just get started like dicing my rhubarb and my strawberries while I just let that sit for a little while. This recipe says we need about 1.5 cups of diced rhubarb, which is about 3 stalks. Since I have so much, I might even do more filling. I can't see why that would be a bad thing, but I'm gonna start with 3 stalks, give them a rinse, and chop them up and see how much that is, and perhaps I add another stalk or a half a stalk. Even though rhubarb looks like a celery, what I've learned is that it is not at all related to celery. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you know better than me, leave me a comment down below, but I'm pretty sure I've heard that they're actually not related and it's just one of those sort of like random evolution things where they're like very similar even though they're completely unrelated. That was the smallest stalk that I pulled out, but that's probably like 1/4 cup, maybe 1/3 cup. So I do think I'm gonna be able to use at least another stalk of rhubarb. Ooh, look how beautiful that is inside. I just love, I love everything about rhubarb. Okay, that's a cup. I think I'll grab one more like medium stalk. Okay, we'll count that as our 1.5 cups of rhubarb. Next, I need to wash and slice some strawberries. Oh my God, I'm so upset. I was at the store this morning and the strawberries looked terrible. They were either like very not ripe looking, like very, you know, bad strawberries, or like overripe. And I thought I had finally found one good package. I was looking for 2 and I just literally could not find a second good package, but I'm now looking and there's a nasty strawberry in the bottom. So I guess I'm working around that. Also, I don't know if you can hear, my neighbor is doing something that involves like grilling or something upstairs. Anyway, so I'm gonna cut about 1/2 of these and leave the other half for the second recipe. So we'll get chopping. And I'll put these back in the fridge. Have a sip of my tea. I do not handle caffeine very well. I enjoy the taste of coffee and I do like tea, but like almost 2 weeks ago, I just had too much caffeine by accident. I had boba tea and I've had boba many times before and I've never had this bad of a caffeine reaction. I felt so sick, like jittery, but still tired. It doesn't wake me up. I just had like anxiety and I was fidgety and I didn't sleep. So I'm just kind of turned off from anything caffeinated. So I've been enjoying some herbal tea for the past few days and it has actually been really lovely. Anyway, strawberries. This is a monstrous strawberry. The last things I need to do for the filling here are squeeze a tablespoon of lemon juice and add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to my bowl here and then get that all mixed up. I got lemons like a week ago, maybe more than that, because I had plans to make 3 different kinds of muffins, one of which was gonna be lemon poppy seed, and I literally just haven't done it, so maybe we'll do a muffin video sometime in the future, but these lemons are getting real soft. So I'm going to give that a wash, slice this open, and just squeeze. Picking out the seeds. Give this a nice mix together. Totally forgot to add the sugar, so we need a 1/4 cup. And I will need the sugar later when I make the crumb in the crust. But we'll just mix this all up. That's gonna get really gorgeous. My butter is still rock hard, so I'm gonna let it sit for another few minutes and I'm gonna prepare my pan for baking. This says to use an 8-inch square pan. I think I'm gonna use a 9x9. Is that what I have, or is it an 8x8? It's an 8x8. I thought I was gonna have to use, I have some metal like cake pans, but I much prefer to bake in these because it has the little glass handles on it. So I'm going to line this, it says with tin foil. I think I'm gonna line it with parchment paper. I think I am going to microwave these on low for like 30 seconds just to get them a bit softer, because like I said, they are hard. There is nothing remotely soft about them. But I will also grease the inside of this once I get like the wrappers off of these, and maybe there'll be a little, you know, a little melty butter left over somewhere. Okay, butter is nice and soft, as you can see. I just did that for about, I don't know, like 40 or 45 seconds on low power, on like 20 or 30% power. Now that I'm getting closer to actually having this ready to bake, I'm gonna turn my oven on to preheat. I believe it's supposed to be 375. So that's what I'll do now. Now to make the crust slash crumble, I could use my KitchenAid stand mixer, but to be honest, it's sitting on top of my fridge and I don't feel like carrying it down because it's heavy. So I'm just gonna use my hand mixer and grab a mixing bowl from my cabinet. Into our bowl, we're gonna add the butter, a cup of sugar, 2 cups of flour, but I'm gonna measure with my 1/2 cup, just because it's easier to fit into this container. So I'll do 4 1/2 cups. I need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of vanilla, but you know, here we measure vanilla from the heart. And we mix this until it resembles crumbs. As you can see, this is now nice and crumb-like. There's still some kind of decent sized pieces of butter in here, but they just weren't mixing up. So it'll just make a really delicious buttery crust, I guess. Okay, that was my oven. So what I need to do is put 1/2 of this crust in the bottom of my pan, patted down, and then I'll put in my fruit mixture and then I'll crumble the rest on the top. And then we've got our fruit topping. And then the rest of this topping gets put on top, just kind of loose and crumbly. All right, this is what we've got. About to go into the oven. I'm gonna set a timer for 45 minutes. It says it'll take 45 to 55 minutes to bake, so I'll check on the earlier side and I'll show you when we're done. Okay, just pulled this out of the oven after 55 minutes. It smells amazing and it looks really good as well. This part does look a little less baked. I was hoping that everything would get sort of the, I don't know, just like the darkness, but I think that it's just because of the amount of butter that was in it, so it's not like a crust really. It's, you know, it's not like it's raw and uncooked. It's just kind of sprinkled and buttery. I don't know. I don't know how to explain what I'm saying. But this will need to cool totally, completely, because these are supposed to be crumble bars, and I should be able to slice them into like, essentially like brownies, you know, like something that holds its shape. So I do not have time to wait for these to cool before I go, so I will leave these to cool and come back and slice them later today. Looking at the clock, I'm definitely not gonna have enough time to do the other rhubarb recipe right now. So I'm going to clean up this mess, and perhaps I'll bake later today when I get home. I'm not sure how late I'll be out. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Okay guys, I ran my errands, and then my friend that I was out with, I invited her to come over here and we tried the crumble bars. They are out of this world. I absolutely love I love rhubarb in general. Strawberry rhubarb is just that perfect amount of sweet with tart, and these bars are so delicious. I will absolutely be making these again. Honestly, I decided that if I have enough rhubarb left over after the second recipe I'm gonna make, I might make these crumble bars again and take them to work, or I'm going to a little cookout tomorrow. They're so good. Like, I cannot even express how delicious these are. So that was a hit. The recipe link will be down in the description if you're interested. If you can get your hands on some rhubarb, this is a must bake. Good morning. I am back for day 2. I literally just finished eating one of those crumble bars for breakfast. Still swallowing that. They're so good. But today I'm going to make the second recipe, which is like a strawberry rhubarb Danish. So I bought frozen puff pastry at the store, and I thought I was gonna be able to make these yesterday, so I let it thaw most of the way and I put it in the fridge, but it does say keep frozen. And now it's been thawed for like almost a day in the fridge. So I don't know if that's gonna screw things up, but we're gonna get started anyway. I am making one small change to this recipe because really it's just, the recipe is written for like berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, which cook down pretty easily because these are only gonna bake for, I think like 25 minutes maybe because of the puff pastry. But I really feel like the rhubarb needs more time to break down. So what I'm gonna do is in a saucepan, cook down the rhubarb and strawberries a little bit before I transfer them into the puff pastry. And I should say, I haven't even like prefaced this, these are like cream cheese Danishes. So it's puff pastry, it's like a sweetened cream cheese mixture, and then the fruit goes on top of that, and that's what gets baked. So let's get it going. The first thing I'm gonna do is get the cream cheese mixture going. So I'm doubling this recipe because it's supposed to make 6 pastries, but I'm going to make 12 because that's how much puff pastry dough I have. I'm not gonna save it. So it uses a whole 8-ounce block of cream cheese, and then to double it, it uses 3 cups of sugar, which sounds like a lot, but that's what we're gonna do. I actually take this back. The first thing I'm gonna do is prepare the fruit so I can get that cooking down a little bit while I prepare the filling. Back to where we were yesterday, chopping rhubarb and strawberries. And this time I'm going to put the fruit directly into a saucepan, and that's where I'll add the sugar and cornstarch, and then I'll cook it down so I won't have to waste another bowl. I'll just use the pan that I'm gonna cook them down in. Now it's time to chop the strawberries. That one that was kind of nasty looking, I actually tried to cut off the nasty bit, and it was really all the way through on the inside, so could not be salvaged. Bit of a bummer. All right, so then into the fruit I add just a tablespoon of sugar, I might do a little bit more, and a half a tablespoon of cornstarch to help thicken up this mixture. I'm gonna turn my burner on, probably medium, give this a stir, and just let this start to cook down for a little bit. While that's getting started, I'm gonna clean up my area just a little bit, and then I will make the cream cheese mixture. Once again, I am too lazy to get my KitchenAid off of the fridge, so I'm gonna use my hand mixer again and a bowl to mix together my 8 ounces of cream cheese, and then I was wrong. It is 3 tablespoons of sugar. That is radically different than what I thought, and I feel way better about that. Plus a splash, a healthy splash of vanilla extract. Grab my mixer out again. Got my cream cheese. 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And 4 tablespoons of vanilla, which is like a tablespoon plus a teaspoon. That's probably good. And we mix. That is like, wow. This tastes like bakery style cream cheese filling. And that was so easy. I honestly think that this recipe is going to be one that I just keep in my repertoire, because you can do this with any kind of fruit. You don't have to make your own puff pastry. You can buy it at the store. That was basically all of the prep work that goes into this recipe. I have this beautiful bowl here, and now my fruit is still just starting to cook down. I'm not gonna even, worry about doing it for too long. What I'll do now is turn on my oven to preheat, take out my puff pastry, and start assembling these danishes. These are gonna be so good. Okay, here is my thawed puff pastry. I'm gonna gently open this up. And I want to get, what did I say, 12 pastries out of this. If these didn't have these seams here already, I probably would have sliced 4 this way and 3 this way, but I'm just trying to make this simple, I suppose. So I'm just gonna have little, long, skinny guys. And I hope I can fit these all on my pan at once. That would be ideal, so I don't have to do them a second time. Let's see if I can get, I don't think I'm gonna get them all at once, which is okay. Okay, I'll do 6 and put these ones back in the refrigerator. So the next part of assembly is to score about a 1/2 inch, but I'm gonna do under that because, like I said, these are kind of small. So I score around like this. I just want to move this away from the oven a little bit because my burner was still warm, and now that the oven is preheating, it's blowing out hot air. And these will bake the best, I believe, if they are cooler. Next, I'm gonna take a scoop of this mixture and put it in the middle. And I have plenty of this mixture, so I'm gonna add some more. I'm saving about half for the second batch. batch. So I'll spread this out over the middle section. Beautiful. Now I'll use half of my fruit mixture right on top of my cream cheese. Again, I've got a little bit extra so I can fill some of these a little bit more. That's my oven just in time. And the very last thing I'm gonna do to prep is make an egg wash. So I'm just gonna crack one egg into here, add a splash of water. I'm just going to lightly rub this around the edges to give it a little bit of shine when it bakes. Gonna get these in the oven now. And those are gonna bake for 20 to 25 minutes, so I'll check them after 20. While those are baking, I'm going to make the little glaze that goes over the top. I think it's just powdered sugar, milk, and vanilla. I'm so sorry guys, my neighbor is literally like doing construction projects upstairs at not even 10 a.m. So that'll get drizzled on top. But yeah, I'm gonna prep that, stick the rest of this, like the cream cheese mixture, in the fridge just to keep everything cool. And when these ones are done, I will bake the second set of 6. They're looking so good. You guys, these are perfect. Like, oh my God. Oh my God! I'm gonna transfer these onto a cooling rack and then drizzle the glaze on top. Oh my God, I cannot wait to taste one of these. They're literally puffy perfection. This is exactly what I was hoping for. All right, those are gonna cool for a while. And in the meantime, I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna assemble the second set because this pan is burning hot, but I think that's just, I'm just gonna have to do it and deal with whatever repercussions. But this, oh my God, what a success. Now we just have to hope that they taste good, but based on what went into them, I'm sure they're gonna be amazing. While the second batch is baking, I am going to try one of these. Like, I'm overwhelmed by how good these look. The one thing that I am a little bit apprehensive about is how well the fruit cooked, because like I said, the rhubarb normally would take a little bit longer than 20 minutes to cook down. There wasn't a whole lot of sugar in there, but I did put the glaze on top, so that should sweeten it up a little bit. I mean, just amazing. That is exquisite. Like literally not what I was expecting it to taste like, even though obviously I know what all of the components were gonna taste like. Holy cow. This has to be one of the highest payoff baked goods I've ever made. The amount of work that it takes is minimal. The flavor is incredible. Oh my God. I would easily pay like $7 for one of these at a farmer's market from, you know, a local baker. Wow, you guys, these are such a success. I am obsessed. I will 100% make these again. These would be great to bring to a brunch with friends or bring into the office. Thank you so much for hanging out with me the past 2 days while I got these amazing strawberry rhubarb recipes baked up. Both of these are going into the rotation 100%. So worth it, so delicious. It is such a shame that rhubarb season is so short. Give this video a thumbs up if you are also a rhubarb fan like I am. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button right now so you never miss one of my uploads. And I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.